Hello everybody, welcome. I got my trusty hand shovel and we're going to plant some of these perennial veggies and some herbs into a new garden bed that we kind of are preparing. That lighter green strip is where I mowed. I had taken a bunch of maple trees out and now we're going to prep that for actually growing veggies. We're going to do a hybrid cardboard sheet mulch type of deal. So I'm going to plant a few of these plants in there, surround it with a little bit of cardboard to kind of keep the grasses away from that, and then the rest of it will just be mulched with some of this stuff that we picked up at Green Cycle. And we'll be adding the compost that we got from them as well. That way we'll not only have better access from this area to the chicken coop, but we'll have more areas to plant. So stay tuned. We've got all these yesterday from the Growers Exchange. They got a short about it, but we have quite a number of things. We have actually 2 lamb's ears right there. I tried to put them like next to each other, but see there we got some mint, some peppermint, and that's 2 arugulas right there. And I have an idea of like how big some of this stuff gets, but things like the lemon balm, the mint, I'm guessing will just kind of overspread. Same with the lemon balm. Yeah, and I'm guessing there's one other thing. But I know about how big the anise hyssop gets and how big this red sorrel, this bloody dock, gets. So I'll have kind of an idea of where to plant all this stuff. And not all of it's going to go into that one strip. It might go on either side because there's a sheet mulch area on the other side. However, I might just plant a couple a little bit more randomly, have a better idea of where things are planted out in my food forest back here. So, yeah, let me get to it. So I may have forgotten where I was going to plant some of this stuff. Let's do a quick walk through. So I wanted to try and add some to this bed, because originally when I had sheet mulched, I'd gone around and then gone to where we were gonna go, and this I ended up making a mowed pathway on the side. So then now we got it planted out with lavender and jujube. There's one plant, arugula, so we'll plant that kind of in that spot because that jujube right there died. And we have a hascap, some lilies, some lavender, some of these bunch grasses, which are pretty cool, I think. Got chickens, another hascap, maybe sugar pie isberry, something like that. Asparagus. We have some strawberries that we planted in here, which are just a couple weeks old. Then we'll have another plant there. So what it's going to look like is we're going to use that cardboard or similar bits like that. We're just going to plant them here in a row here. Eventually I'd like to have maybe some lingonberry bushes, maybe a couple bushes here and there, but we'll at least get this started. So if you think about, if you want to visualize probably where this piece of cardboard is here, that'll be the very edge of where wood chips would be. That would go over the plant, and then wood chips all along. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight. I like to have a little bit of character. And then you'd be able to walk down here, and we're going to add some sorrel, and then I think another arugula there. But like you see, there's a hascap and comfrey there, so we're just kind of building it up. There's a elderberry that we planted right here. Gotta see that. Maybe 2 weeks old. And then there's a ring of raspberries with a peach tree right here. So there's raspberries planted all along here. So we'll get to planting these and we'll show you what it looks like. A little side note on roots. This is what happens when something is root bound. I'd already stuck my finger in there, but this is what they do. They spin in a circle, so you can try and find maybe an end, but you know how many roots are in here. 100. So Some people will just cut corners off of stuff, especially on trees. It kind of makes more sense because there's more there. But I try to at least break up some of it. The plant will kind of kill off whatever it needs to kill off, but just to get something that's able to go laterally would be nice. There's not a taproot on here. I don't want to cause too much damage, but look at how much is trapped. Like it's spun around and then it's trying to come back up looking for soil. So that's something you gotta pay attention to and kind of see what the latest studies are on root-bound plants. It's better to maybe some people might even think just cutting the back chunk of this off would be better and let a lot of these leaves die. I don't know, but this is how I planted all mine, and I seem to have about a nearing 90% success rate for all trees and bushes and plants and strawberries and all that. So there's a really good example of what we're trying to do here. I just use that to cover up around, and then any grasses that we have, we're perfectly fine just leave them in place because all this will be mulched over. That'll break down and be food for the soil. Microbiology. This is the area where we had dug up a lot of the maple trees, so it's overgrown. Well, it's like uneven and there's kind of missing spots. So we brought some of that soil that we got from Green Cycle, and we're just filling in where needed. Done with that little strip. I just want to show you into wood chips where my head is. We just cleared that away. Let me see if I can. It's all rocky here. There's like gravel next to me, like gravel driveway. Anyways, all this was on top. It's not especially thick, but I'll just be able to dig into there, and then I'll just be able to grab all this Creeping Charlie and the wood chips and stuff. I'm not worried about Creeping Charlie strangling lovage out because that'll grow so quick. But it'll be kind of cool. It'll be next to this perennial flower thing. A couple of comfrey that we can break. We could actually cut some of that and use it as mulch for this lovage. We're also going to plant artichoke and Imperial Star right about in that area. And yeah, so wood chips are definitely a lot easier than having to dig into that because this is so moist. I'll show you just how it's just whoop, beautiful. Beautiful. And a little wormy for the chickens. Alright, go feed this guy to him. So here it is, lovage. A little bit of green mulch from the comfrey plant. Checking in over here. Lucy, at least one of them has gotten some worms. It's just faster than the rest of them. But this whole area, like I said, is sheet mulched. I want to say 2020, so this is the third year. I guess it wasn't especially thick. I'm trying to remember just how thick it was, but it really isn't. I mean, it's just a coating now. You know what I mean? Half an inch maybe. So I brought some of the mix that we have. I'll try and mulch around this as well as I can. I've heard of people resurfacing their mulch, but I have all this Creeping Charlie, and that is a living green mulch. So if I'm planting something like that, that will get bigger than the Creeping Charlie, which is chamomile will, or like this walnut will. I'm not too worried about it, but as long as the ground is covered, that's the biggest thing. You want a block from the sun onto the soil. There's a bumblebee, has some snacks on all the Creeping Charlie. And I can always throw some of this other green mulch down. So yeah, just something to keep in mind that those wood chips will break down. Is kind of what you want. You want to blanket out with the wood chips and the sheet mulch and whatever else to replant it out. So in this case, I did a bunch of asparagus, basically just ended up digging a big old trench and just dumping crowns in. So to have it be this big 2 years later, it's pretty awesome. Making a lot of progress on this. It's pretty simple. Get enough kind of pieces. It's not gonna be perfect. Might be little cracks like that. You can't always overlap. If you never wanted grass to come through here, you could do, I don't know, 3 or 4 layers of interlapping, and do, I don't know, a foot of wood chips, and then you might not see grass for like a year and a half. No, because we're trying to blank out the grass, but that doesn't stop other seeds and stuff from flying in and then germinating in the wood chips that are breaking down. So this will tidy it up and clean it up, and then as we use it as a walking path and things grow up and we add maybe a bush or two, then it'll actually be a living thing. But this will obviously separate it. This is a more finished section. You can see it's pretty obvious. I'll just mow along that edge and it won't be a problem, and it'll obviously have a plant in it. You can see it's wet here. We've pre-soaked the cardboard as much as we can, and then we'll give it another soak. So we got some arugula there, and we have this whole bed is done. Not especially thick. Oh, we got a number of plants in there. When we're checking out this hascap too. This is one that I planted a while ago. I think that's some sort of mint. I think that's a peppermint. Doesn't look very good. See how that survives. But if not, we trimmed where this comfrey back. You can see I laid it down at the base of this hascap, and it's already growing new shoots from the main plant. So that's really cool. It's starting to multiply itself. This is a plant that if you were to mound it with dirt, it would start to, each branch or each stem would start to root. So since it's sheet mulched, as that wood turns into soil, it'll try to root into it. So it's a pretty cool tactic to multiply your bushes. In future videos, I'll point out the stuff that I planted through, but we got a couple added around here in this sheet mulching area. And see where that cardboard is. And then we randomly added a couple down here. And this is a corner that we had added some perennial local plants. Whatever, golden Alexandria. There's an arugula, which will be the main thing of this here, right next to a pear. So this will be a really cool area that we've added some mulch to kind of define it. We got another number of plants there. So it's coming along pretty well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we check out our recently planted hazelnut. In and among the dandelions and the violets and the long grasses. All right, bye-bye before I fall over.